Hey, are you excited for the podcast? What she said.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to James Cameron.
I almost bailed on being a filmmaker. It's about sitting in that big dark room with all those other people you don't know, and something's gonna come up on that screen that's gonna take you somewhere. I'm the king of the world!
And today we're talking Pandora, the world of Avatar. This is the only souvenir I took from the opening weekend of Pandora, the world of Avatar. I went with a really good friend of mine. Checked the date, actually, by the way, May 27th, 2017 was a Saturday. So we either went Saturday or Sunday. I don't remember exactly when we went, but I didn't take much from the event, but I did take the park map, if I can speak correctly. And it's such a special land. If you're listening to this, watching this, I hope you either have had the chance to go to Pandora or you are planning to go to Pandora, because it is quite literally one of the most spectacular things you'll ever see with your own two eyes. I'm much more of a Universal guy personally, but this is something that makes, I think, Disney a step above the rest when it comes to the Imagineering that goes on. So today, for this episode of James Cameron 101, I wanted to shine the light on Pandora because, of course, this is inspired by the film Avatar. And we're going to get into this. We have a good friend of mine joining us, and potentially maybe even a special guest. Ooh, we'll see. But first and foremost, just wanted to drop a couple facts here in case anyone is not very familiar with the world of Avatar. This was originally developed in 2011 with Mr. James Cameron and Lightstorm Entertainment. Construction began in 2014, I think in January 2014, and the land officially opened May 27th, 2017. And of course, really the reason you go to Pandora is to take in the scenery, the bioluminescent feel, all that stuff, the eatery you can go to, and all that good jazz. But of course, you go for the rides, and there's two rides within this land. One is the Na'vi River Journey, which did not get to experience when I went opening weekend. It was just it was sort of like pick one or the other. And of course, everybody was talking about Flight of Passage. So we ended up going Flight of Passage, but got to get on Na'vi River Journey at some point. And of course, Avatar Flight of Passage, which to this day is the only theme park ride that has ever literally made me teary-eyed from the sensory, overload. It's just insane. That ride is spectacular upon spectacular. You have to do it once in your life. So those are some of the fun facts. There's the park map. Let me stop talking. Let me bring in first my good friend in life. He is a Disney expert, and that's really why he's here tonight. Josh Flowers.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
First and foremost, how's married life?
Dude, it's good. Zero complaints.
You just came back from a nice cruise.
We did.
Castaway.
We did. Nothing like a Disney cruise. And I've been told by other cruisers, because, I've only been on the two cruises, both Disney. But supposedly, in the cruise world, once you go Disney, your expectations kind of go through the roof for cruising. So,
right. Yeah, man, it's well, I've never done that either. When it comes to the Disney stuff, I'm very, very, I've done a couple of the parks. Actually, I think I've done all the parks. I've done Blizzard Beach. I think I did Typhoon Lagoon, but I think we both agree that Pandora is one of the top tier lands in all of Disney.
Yeah, it's definitely top tier.
Okay. And did you, because you've always been a Disney guy, did you go opening weekend?
We went the opening week. It wasn't the weekend. We were there on vacation about 9 days after it opened.
Okay.
And it was booming. You waited, 5 hours or something to get on a Flight of Passage?
Yep.
We were in the hype crowd. Like, we got there right at open. Took about 30, 40 minutes just to get into Animal Kingdom. And then they had it phased to where if you wanted to ride Flight of Passage, there were so many people in queue, it wasn't in the queue. They were bringing us in by groups. So we ended up waiting 90 minutes, but that's because we left and went back when Animal Kingdom was still staying open until like 9 o'clock at night.
Right.
We around 7:30 queued up, and that was the first time we went on it. But even after all the years and all the new things that have come, Flight of Passage is still one of the most popular attractions all across property. So I think that says a lot for it.
It really does. It really does. And it like I said, it's no other ride has ever literally almost brought me to tears. Like I remember getting off of that ride, and I know exactly the point where it happens because I've only done it once, and that was 2017, but it's fresh in my mind where you're going under a wave as it's cresting. Dude. And I was just like, this feels like this is real. Like this is 100% real. I'm flying and I'm going through a wave as it's about to crest over me. I feel the mist from the wave. It was too much. It was like sensory overload. I got off that. Life didn't feel right at that point. I wanted to get back on, and because you really feel like you're flying. It's I don't know how to explain it, and I can't imagine what the next iteration of Pandora is going to be like because they're building it over in California, right?
Yeah, and nothing's been released on that yet. They could incorporate some things for the Way of Water, but who knows? There is some concept art. It does look pretty similar, but I don't know if they're going to necessarily one-up Animal Kingdoms because originally Animal Kingdom was supposed to have 3 rides. Not sure what happened, but looking at, just the history of the Walt Disney Company, especially within the last like 10 years or so, when they do the big announcements at D23, you might expect some of it to not make it to the end.
Right. So maybe they'll retool it and add it over in California.
They could. What I was thinking of, honestly, is because we still have 3 more films coming out, or
something like that. Yeah,
it's either 2 more or 3 more. I know originally it was supposed to be 5, but what Animal Kingdom lacks is a nighttime spectacular, and Avatar has a chance to be the main event to end the night at Animal Kingdom. There's a huge stadium on a body of water, but the water it's a swamp. Like there's no way around it. It's swamp water. But that area is prime for a nighttime spectacular. And with what they're doing with Avatar, land, sea, fire, earth kind of thing, almost like Avatar The Last Airbender, you can incorporate all the elements into one nighttime show because the deal with Animal Kingdom is they don't do fireworks because of the actual animals. But
right,
Disney could branch out. The only thing I was thinking of is an actual show using the whole lagoon, whether it's a light and fountain kind of show that Universal picked up. Disneyland has a show like that, or they would have to kind of get into the depths and kind of station off the theater water and make it swimmable. And if you have you ever seen those like rocket, like I don't even know what they're called. It's like a jetpack on your feet for the water, and people fly up out of the water and stuff like that. That's not in anything at Disney, or even a drone show, something like that. But
all right. Well, the future is bright. That's all I know. The future is very bright. But today we are talking Pandora, the World of Avatar. I did want to make this a little extra special. I wanted to make sure that, because that's something I want to do with the podcast is always talk to maybe somebody that, worked on this, somebody that worked on that, yada, yada, yada. And today we are going to be joined by somebody who is in the pre-show to Flight of Passage. And today we are going to be joined by the one, the only Mr. Dr. Stevens, a.k.a. David Danipour.
Let's go.
Hey, what's up, Eddie? And
How's it
I didn't
going?
catch your name. You're Eddie's co-host,
Josh,
Josh. What's up, Josh?
what's
Hey,
up, bro?
buddy. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. I wasn't
A-
expecting you. That's awesome.
AKA David Danipour? Is that?
AKA David
Yeah,
Danipour.
yeah, very funny. How are you guys doing? I actually don't. I know your podcast is called Pandora. It's called James Cameron 101. So I was thinking, I don't really know that much about James Cameron. So I hope there's like enough of a thing that I can give you.
No, but look, the reason you're here is because you're involved in something that is inspired by James Cameron. So I remember
Right, right.
going back and forth with you. You were like, Cameron didn't really like, he didn't interact with me like if he was involved.
Yeah, I've never met James Cameron. I know he made Avatar, and then the Disney Imagineers made the Avatar, experiences in Disney World, and then I'm not really sure how much of a connection they had, because he wasn't like on set or anything when they filmed the little pre-shows and stuff.
Right,
But
right.
you know, yeah, I'm ready to give you whatever nuggets of stuff you want. And by the way, are you doing okay? I know there was like a hurricane or something, and we canceled because or there was like a
Yes.
flooding or
Yeah.
something.
We were supposed to do this a while back, and then the Hurricane Helene came through and wrecked everything.
Helene. Oh my gosh.
But no,
Yeah.
we're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay. Good. Good. Good.
So yeah, Josh and I'll take turns here, whatever, if we want to ask questions. But I know I wanted to start, and forgive me if you've answered this before already, but for anyone that's meeting you for the very first time, how did you even get into being involved in Flight of Passage? Like, how does somebody end up in a pre-show for Walt Disney World?
You mean like that was I just walking down the street and they're just like, "Excuse me, sir, can you come over here?" Um, no, there was like an audition process. They posted it on this thing called Actors Access, which is this sort of website for actors to self-submit things, and
Right.
then if you have an agent, that agent can submit you as well. So submit it to this thing called theme park attraction or something like that. It didn't say it was from Disney. It was very top secret. And
Okay.
then the audition's like in a mini mall. You go there and there's a lot of people with lab coats. Like some people like to dress up for the part a little bit more. And then there was, I didn't hear anything for a while, and then there was a callback maybe like a few weeks later. Then you came back and there's like a new script. They're like revising it a little bit.
So
And
still,
then
still at this point, you have no idea this is Avatar, Flight of
no,
Passage,
no,
nothing.
no. I was thinking, I don't know. I was thinking like Knott's Berry Farm or something. They changed the words too, because there was nothing in there that would reveal it was from Avatar. All of those specifics were taken out, and so you're just doing this general, like, oh, watch out, there's a lot of viruses here, sort of thing, as opposed to Pandoran microbugs.
Right,
So
right.
so yeah, so I had no idea. I was thinking maybe Six Flags Magic Mountain, or but anyway, did that audition and then didn't hear anything for like 4 months, and then they called me back to do another audition. It turns out they had hired someone, I think, to do like a test run. Like they didn't actually do the whole. They didn't film it with full throttle, set and design and everything. It was sort of like a test, and then after that, then it was a real thing, and then I knew it was for Disney. Once you like sign the contracts and everything, you're like, oh,
Oh wow,
this
this
is a
is
Disney thing. Yeah, but I don't really like go to Disney World or Disneyland. I live in Los Angeles, so there's Disneyland is the one near us. I went there as a kid and stuff, but like, I don't really go there that much and know the lore as well as I know some people do, and so
this guy
to
right
me
here.
it was, yeah, to me it was just, Josh, yeah, to me it was just like it's just like, oh, I guess I get to do this fun little thing for a day. But the people on set were really into it, and they're just like, "Isn't this incredible? You're gonna be up on the pre-show." And I'm just like, "Oh yeah, it's super fun." But yeah, I was pretty laid back about that part. But now it's like run every day, multiple times a day.
Right.
The Avatar ride employees, like the people that help you get on the ride and everything, they have to listen to me for hours. Like, and I think it has some sort of what's that thing where like the guy kidnaps you and then you start liking them? There's like a term. Stockholm syndrome.
Oh, Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome.
Okay.
I think I give them a little bit of Stockholm syndrome after like hours and hours and hours of them hearing this, pre-show over and over again, to the point where they're just like, I like this guy. But
now
I get messages from them every once in a while.
Right.
The employees, yeah.
Are you familiar with the Terminator show that used to be at Universal? The other James Cameron related thing?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. What was that? Was that like were you on the tram when that happened, or were you?
No. It was like a standalone building. It was like it acted as a mini sequel to Terminator 2. But the reason I ask is because in that pre-show there was a character named Kimberly Duncan who was annoying as all get out. She would always say super, and I wonder if Universal employees had the same kind of effect from that, listening to that over and over.
Maybe they after they get broken down,
right,
they start to like it.
Yeah. You know what it is, and it's become like a thing. I know you said you don't go to Disney a lot or at all or whatever, but like in the Disney community, when you're up, the one line everyone will say in the pre-show is, and fly. And, like,
I know.
I've been told. There's memes about you. Like that's like your golden line in the whole spiel.
I totally know about that one. Yeah, that one I know about because I have the internet. I've been able to gather that one, and that was like a sort of like an improvised line that I did, because they were giving it. So they gave you the script, but then on the day of, they changed everything up, and not only that, they wanted you to sort of say it in different order because they have all these vamp scenarios. It's like, oh, if the line's really long, they want it to be extra long. If the line's really short, they rather you just do these tidbits. And so they had different versions of everything. And so I probably was just like, I probably didn't know like it was probably like one of those new scripts, and I was just like, and you're gonna fly. That's what you're gonna do. So it was a little improv. That portion of it.
Now you had seen the film, right? Avatar prior to that, or no?
I do like Avatar, the original. That's the only one I've seen. I have seen.
Okay, so you haven't seen Way of Water.
Haven't seen Way of Water.
Okay.
I've seen other James Cameron movies. Terminators, yeah. True Lies.
Right.
I think True Lies is one of my favorite ones.
It is pretty good. It is pretty good.
Funny, yeah.
And now I think it is technically a Disney movie because it's owned by because they bought it's like the umbrella, right? It wasn't originally a Disney movie, but now Disney owns, I'm pretty sure whoever put that out, 20th Century Fox or whatever. So it's technically a Disney movie now.
Oh wow, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus. You could find True Lies and see Jamie Lee Curtis doing her
movie to be on Disney Plus. I think of this. I use Disney Plus for my kid to like watch Bluey, and I know it's got like the Star Wars and but True Lies. That one.
True Lies. I'm pretty sure Saw is on Disney Plus.
Saw.
Yeah.
I mean, with the torture guy with the weird puppet face.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure someone put it out there that it's on Disney Plus somewhere. So, can you vouch for this, Josh, or you don't know?
Saw.
Well, they have like a like if you get the Disney Plus Hulu package,
That's what it is. That's what it is.
You can kind of share streaming franchises or
Okay.
whatever.
So it's on Hulu, Eddie. It's on Hulu.
Well, because you can watch.
But you can like take the bridge to Hulu from Disney Plus, is what you're saying?
And some of the stuff is on Disney Plus. Like what was that samurai show that was on Hulu? Shogun. You can watch that on Disney Plus too.
Yeah.
If you have Hulu.
Okay. I watched it all on Hulu. I separate them. I separate the, I like to have my associations, like Disney. I grew up with Disney. It's like for kids stuff. And then I'll go to Hulu for, someone helping you by chopping your head off while you cut your stomach open. That's a Shogun thing. I don't know if you've watched that, Eddie.
No, I have no clue what you guys are talking about right now.
I just ruined the best part of Shogun.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, you got to watch that show though. It's intense. It's really good. It's like a succession sort of race between these samurai warlords, and when they feel like they've made a moral sin, they do this thing where they cut their belly open, and then in order to not feel all the pain, their friend will chop their head off. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Let's get back to let's get back to what were we talking about?
Yeah. Well, the reason I asked, had you seen Avatar? Are you familiar with Avatar? Is because did you understand if your character, like how your character fit into the like the bigger theme and the bigger picture of it all, or were you sort of just like, I'm not thinking that far?
I think it was explained to me that, this is sort of in the future, I think, from Avatar 1. It's like way in the future, and I'm supposed to be in like some remote laboratory somewhere. I think what they said was like, think of it like you're in like a scientist in Antarctica. It's like you're in this remote location, and you're now video conferencing in to tell everyone what they're about to, do from my remote. So that's the sort of backstory they gave me, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense when you do the ride.
No, it does. It does. Did you ever come into contact with Allison, the other character in the show?
Oh, yeah. We were both on set together. And
so you were in the exact same space, like it wasn't like digital or anything?
Oh, no. So they I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I think I am. They rented out like a big sound stage, and they constructed like, my little science lab on one side of it, and then on the other side they constructed her little background thing that she would talk through. Yeah, and then they would just, film it there, and then when they're done with her, they would turn the camera over, and they move everything over to the other side of the soundstage, and they just built the set. That's what it is, the set. Yeah, that's awesome.
Right. And this is all
her
days.
set, my set. Was there another set there? Does she have multiple sets, or is she in that one, like brownish set?
Josh,
She's in motion, but it's probably on the same set. It's probably just like moved over a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I think it was just one. I think it was one on her side, one on my side. So they would like, do her shooting, and then they do a little bit of mine, and then, just work back and forth.
And this is all one day's work, and that's it?
It was one long day, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's haunted you to 2024.
Yeah, people are really interested in, well, I will say it's a little controversial, because some people don't really like it. I've read the comments, I know. They don't really like the pre-show. I've talked about this in this other podcast called Podcast The Ride. It's like these.
It's a good podcast, yeah.
But basically, like, some people didn't really like it a lot, which is, it's a subjective art. It's a subjective thing. And one of the guys was like the screenwriter for Pixels. It's not a great movie. So he's really exposing himself to, being retaliated on. But
Right.
I stood back. But yeah, but yeah,
You know,
I don't know where we're going with that.
personally, I think that applies to any pre-show. I mean, me personally speaking, going back to the Terminator thing, I kind of wish we could just skip the pre-show
Mm-hmm.
and get right on the ride. And I think that's why some people don't like it, is because they have to like it's prolonging them from getting on the ride.
Right, right. And they're just like, why am I watching this? But little do they know that it's not gonna. They would either just be standing in silence and not seeing anything because they still have to wait.
Right.
Because I know for that one, they time it based off of how long the line is ahead of you. And if
Right.
there's like a hiccup or something, then they filmed one where like I get up from, I'm like, oh, I think there's a mistake. And like I get up from my seat and walk out. And then I just remember Joe Rody was like giggling his butt off for that. He's just like, this is so
That's the
funny.
guy
What are
with
they gonna
the
think?
really long ears, right? The guy, the like the
I
main
think he had
Imagineer guy.
I think yeah, he's an Imagineering. I think he had like long earrings. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so.
his like these
He
parts are
gets
like
Yeah.
he's got one of those like lobe type deals going on, but he buys or trades or whatever. When he goes somewhere like to do his research, that's his like souvenir. He'll buy or bargain or whatever he does, and that's what he brings back. Is so like when they were building Animal Kingdom and they went to Africa and all these places, that's when he'll get like a new earring.
Oh, okay. Well, it was really, I mean, you can tell he had like an imagination because, he's like dressed like someone that's like, thinking outside the box. And he's also very passionate about all the choices. So yeah, that makes sense that he would be like, I like this. I'm going to do this. Yeah.
is he retired, Josh, or is he still doing Imagineering?
Yes and no. He announced he was retiring about a year ago, maybe a little more, but he's pretty much back. He's coming back to help with new developments. So
Okay, because I
Joe
know
Rody, he's the guy, bro. Like there's a lot of legendary Imagineers, like Tony Baxter, but like Joe Rody is like he's up there. A lot of people say that Animal Kingdom is his park. He was like the lead Imagineer developing Animal Kingdom. And if you watch interviews with him, his passion shines through. Like the guy lives and breathes. He's all about authenticity more than fantasy. He wants it to really look how it should actually look.
right.
Hmm.
But he was just at this past Disney Legends, he was given an award, right? He was inducted into the Legend Hall of Fame, as was James Cameron. So
Long overdue.
yeah. So
James Cameron was inducted into the Disney.
like the Disney Legends. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And is it because of the Avatar stuff that James Cameron's part of?
Yeah, pretty
Oh,
much. Yeah, because I mean, again, going back to the thing, like most of his films now fall under the umbrella of Disney, but really the only true Disney movie, because the first Avatar wasn't even really Disney, right? It was
No, they didn't acquire Fox until it was a couple years after.
Right. So the only real true Disney film in his catalog is The Way of Water right now, currently. Yeah. So.
And you guys said they're making 3 more? So
Yeah.
there's going to be 5 Avatar films?
There were supposed to be 5. I feel like recently they said it was down to 4, but I think originally it was supposed to be 5.
Wow.
Do you think that's too much, David? Or are you like, come on, man?
I mean, if people are watching it and it's got a return and it's, that's great. But the first one was sort of complete, I thought.
I thought it was too. Yeah.
So I guess you just like is it the same? Is the second one sort of like the same story but a different place? It's like let's just repeat the same cycle of like people trying to take over lands that they're not supposed to, and then people learn lessons about nature while stopping the bad guys.
I mean, you could say
Sorry,
like,
I know.
no.
I'm not a movie expert. I'm just going off of the top of my memory.
No, you're totally good. In typical Cameron fashion, he, in my opinion, what's the word? 180s the idea of what a sequel is. So I don't think this is a spoiler, but the main villain in the first Avatar, Quaritch, that like, military guy, Stephen Lang played him. He comes back in The Way of Water, but it's not him; it's his avatar that comes back.
Oh,
So it's like
okay.
stuff that you wouldn't like. Like I remember seeing it in the theater and going, "Oh my god!" Like that's kind of genius in a way to like bring the guy back, and it makes sense. And it because Cameron is the king of the sequel, in my opinion. He just does sequels so well. So
Oh yeah, Terminator 2, really good sequel.
Aliens,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And that's what's funny is they didn't build or even start building Pandora. I think Avatar was out. It was in between 7 and 8 years.
right.
And in one of James Cameron's interviews, he actually says like the gap between Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, that was 7 years. Um, Alien and Aliens, that was a 7 year gap. I think it was even 8 years. So maybe that's James Cameron's kind of sweet spot is 7 to 8 years. Give the guy some time.
Yep. Well, is he going to break it with? So he'll break it with Fire and Ash. He'll kind of break it, right?
Yeah,
2022 to 2025. That's only 3.
probably. Unless there's some kind of writer's strike again. You never know.
But no, it's I recommend checking it out, David. It's definitely it's super long. It's Titanic length. So, strap in, but it's definitely, I think, worthy, especially, I mean, you're technically like if they write a giant Avatar like encyclopedia, you're going to be in there, just so you know.
Like yeah. If
You know what I mean? Like
for
all the
super
characters that have
super
ever
detail.
existed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if they do include the theme park people, into the movie thing. Maybe some fans really.
Yeah, because I mean it's canon. Like when you experience Flight of Passage, it's after the fact that humans went to Pandora and tried to take all the element. I forgot what it is.
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium.
Yeah, unobtainium. But it's supposed to take place after that. So.
Yeah. That you're right. That's what they told me. It was after. Can you guys hold on 1 second? Sorry. I have a 3-year-old and I'm hearing some nap noises. It'll be
No,
just
you're good.
1 minute. Okay.
I'll take you off screen here for a second.
It's crazy because his mannerisms are like I'm seeing the guy from the pre-show, like
Right.
especially just then when he's like, I've got a kid.
Yeah, like I was wondering how much that was acting and how much, because I actually listened to, but I only listened to that other podcast he was talking about, Podcast The Ride, and even in there I was like, I vaguely remember this pre-show and he sounds similar. So I don't know if this is a lot of acting that he was doing or if it's just his personality but I guess now we're kind of seeing that it's really just him in a lab coat.
And like, bro, that's why I like the pre-show. It comes off very, in my opinion anyway, it comes off very authentic. Like it really does sound like a guy who works in a lab is told to, hey, you're going to get on camera, because like what he was talking about earlier, like when the camera just cuts, he literally is like in the middle of a sentence and he's just like, okay, so let's get ready. And then he just goes, huh? Oh, I'll be right back. And it's as you're watching it real time, you're kind of like, what's going on back there? Like what's happening?
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, back to the pre-show thing for a second. Do you agree that, I mean, I know you like this pre-show, but in overall pre-shows, once you've experienced the ride and then now you're going back for a repeat, you kind of wish you could skip them sometimes, right?
Yes and no. I think it depends on your level of like, okay, this is good. Are you the type of person that you just want to ride the ride because of the tech? You like the ride because it's a ride and you think the ride is fun. Then you got people like you and me where you want to ride that ride for, yes, the tech, but we're emotionally like dedicated to the whole entire the franchise itself. And then you have people that they really enjoy rides, but they've never seen Avatar before. And that's where it gets all kind of mixed. I've seen so many mixed reviews. Like you and I will tell people all day, Flight of Passage is sick. You have to ride it. Don't go to Animal Kingdom and not ride it. And I've seen other people get off the ride and they're like, I hated it. They're like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't like it at all. It didn't make it didn't make sense.
What?
Yeah.
It didn't make
But
sense.
my point was, I'm the type of rider. I'm here for the whole attraction. I like the pre-shows. Could I skip a couple? Yes. But that pre-show feeling, it's a hype build. It's like we're almost there. Right. And if you're really locked in to what's going on around you, you can always spot something new or kind of learn something from the pre-show itself, or be like, oh, haha, I didn't know he said that before.
Right. Yeah, like I remember going to the Terminator pre-show, all the time, and just you do get so used to hearing it, so you start kind of, looking around, maybe seeing if there's something that you missed on like the monitors or whatever, because you're usually focused on, for that example, you're focused on Kimberly Duncan, where she's up on the balcony and everything. So yeah, no, I mean, and I've only done this ride once, so I'm not sick of the pre-show at all, but I know for a fact that what he was saying, what David was saying is 100% true, that for some reason, because Phil even told me when I told him that, I kind of spoiled it to him. I was like, yeah, Josh is coming on and I'm going to, hopefully get somebody from the pre-show. And he was like, is it the guy who's always going, I'm like, yeah, what's wrong? So
I think it's one of the better pre-shows. Like it's kind of interactive. Like it does feel like someone is looking in on the room you're in and kind of giving you instructions verbatim of what exactly is about to happen. If you're a civilian and you can just all of a sudden become an avatar and go ride a Banshee, I think there's a little bit of realism in his whole performance.
Right. And I did try to get, I forget her character's name, but Allison Blanchard, I think, is the actor's name, who plays the other character in the pre-show. The one that always, I don't know if you feel the same way. To me, she just looks like Sigourney Weaver's sister.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking, is like, they were like, well, we couldn't get Sigourney. Let's get as close as we can get to Sigourney. Let's get her.
Right. All right. Welcome back, David.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Everybody move around a little bit.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Hold on.
Yeah, move
there we
around
go.
if you can see me.
There we go.
That's one of the lines, right?
Uh-huh.
I actually went to the ride once, and this they were doing like this sort of panel for people that are like part of pre-shows. So it was like the Haunted Mansion woman and Fig the Imagination. They had like all of us answering questions, and then at the end, the host, Mark Daniel, he somehow it came up that I've never been to Disney World, and we were basically right near Disney World. We were in some convention center that's close by, or maybe it was in the park. And he goes, well, let me take you to the Avatar ride now. And he used his own pass, like I guess he can have a guest or something if you have a season pass. Oh no, you know what? He works there, so he gave me like a freebie from his job. So I go there and then I get on the ride. And
no, hold on. You have to do the pre-show.
Oh, I do have to do the pre-show.
Right.
And
so
this
was
during
that
the
weird?
pandemic where you wear the mask, so like no one really actually, everyone was wearing a mask, so it was a little weird, but no one knew it was me watching the pre-show. It would be funnier if I did take like a selfie, like I took my mask off a little bit.
Right.
Or maybe I kept the mask on. I forget. Yeah, it was a little weird. It just felt like watching a home video a little bit, because it's like on a small TV screen, a
Right.
big TV screen, but it's not like a film. And then when I got on the ride, I thought it was great, but you're not gonna like this, Eddie. I started getting like seasick, motion sickness.
I
Yeah, I
can
started getting.
I
I'm like
get it.
one of those guys that hasn't, like, if the somehow my body's like, no, this is wrong. I think you're sick, and it starts making me feel sick. The motion sickness of the video and like the movement and everything, and I'm like sweating because I'm like trying not to, I'm getting more and more nauseous. And after the ride, I remember saying it was great and I loved it because I was actually grateful that he like did all this work to get me to watch the ride. But really, I was just like feeling sick and I was like, get me out of here. I cannot do this. And I don't, and I guess it's just ironic that I just can't do those kind of rides.
And you're
Not sure
what?
why.
You're probably contractually obligated to speak positively of the ride. Are you?
Good point. I don't know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't read that contract. Yeah. We'll cut this out if that's ever the case.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll send you a little email and there'll just
Yeah,
be a
take that part
beep.
out.
Yeah.
Take that part out. But
Yeah.
no, we were talking, but like while you were off screen, we were talking about Allison, her character, and how to Josh and and I'm curious if you agree with this. She kind of just looks like Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, she does. She does resemble her. Yeah. Yeah. I
So
wonder
we
if
were
that was
wondering if
part of
it's
their
like
decision making. It's like a strong sort of female, because she's like the boss in that scenario.
right.
If I remember correctly. But she's been in other Disney things beforehand. I think they just liked her. She does voices for other attractions. I forget what they are, but you
Dude,
don't actually see her. But I know she's the voice for things.
I have to check the dates, but I'm pretty sure. Actually, it's like a double whammy here. So James Cameron has had rides, theme park attractions in both Disney and Universal Studios.
Yep.
And Sigourney Weaver has been on multiple attractions at Disney because remember, she was on the Great Movie Ride.
Right.
Not her, but
it was
the
Ripley.
animatronic version of her.
It was Ripley. Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, because she's in Ghostbusters, right? So was she not at Ghostbusters at Universal, like that character from Ghostbusters
Are you talking about the live show?
that they did? Yeah, like back in the early days at Universal, because she's
I'd
in
have to
those
watch-
films.
I'd have to watch a video. I don't remember.
I don't know either, but if so, that'd be pretty cool that she was also in both parks.
Right? Like I dabbled a little bit in the theme park world.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. But no, David, like I know it's sort of hopefully it hasn't gotten to the point of being annoying, but it's, I know, a small thing. You did it one long day. Like I said, it's haunted you to 2024, but I mean, is this something like a is this a credit in your filmography that really kind of sticks out?
I don't think it sticks out because it's not like listed as a TV or movie credit. So like if you're doing auditions, they don't really pay attention to that part. It's mainly like friends and family that, or associates,
And
colleagues.
fans. Right.
Yeah, they'll. I'll just get a message every like 6 months from someone I haven't heard from in years, being like, "Is that you? Is that you in the Walt Disney World ride?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, that's me." But yeah, I don't think it's like a thing that they look at. I think it's sort of like doing. Is it? It's not. What is it like? What would be the equivalent? It's like if you did.
It's sort of the equivalent of like a commercial, right?
Maybe. There you go. Maybe it's like a commercial. Yeah.
It's just not the same league as like film, TV.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a different sort of compartment, But even commercials might be considered, like if you did a commercial that was like sort of had a story and everyone sees it, that might be something you can get more recognition for. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
Are you proud
Because
of it?
everyone's always surprised when they see me there. They're always surprised. They're like, "Oh, I had no idea," you know. It's sort of like a fun little surprise. What were
Are
you
you
asking?
are you proud of it overall, or are you sort
Am
of
I
like,
proud of it? Well, I felt a little. It feels like a little misrepresented because when I shot it, something was wrong with the sound, and so I had to come back and ADR everything.
okay?
And so, an ADR is when you like start to dub your voice
Right. Yeah,
over
like
your
there's bad ADR in movies where you can tell it's being
right,
it's
right,
clearly not from the
right.
day they shot.
Yeah. And so it was like basically, you know, 8 to 10 hour day, or maybe it was like 10 to 12 hour day, where I'm just, you know, there's like this big movie screen, and I'm just dubbing over every line. And they had also said to like change the energy of how I originally said it. So it's like I'm dubbing it with a voice that's different than what my face was doing at the time. So I think because of that, it's like, to me when I see it, it's a little off, like an uncanny valley sort of thing. So that part I'm just like, I don't really like as much, but uh, I think it's okay. I don't think it's like, you know, I wouldn't put it on my reel. Let's just say that.
Okay. All right. All right. I love
Yeah.
how nonchalant you are about it, and we were talking about it as well. Like how strikingly similar that character is, and how you're kind of pretty close to that character. Just take the lab coat off.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You got to play different shades of your authentic self to when you're doing this sort of stuff. So it comes off as a little real, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Bro, have you ever been somewhere and you hear somebody like, I don't know, like an elevator or the grocery store or something, and they're like, oh yeah, there's this ride at Animal Kingdom called Flight of Passage, and it kind of makes you like,
No, no, no. I don't think I've done that. Because I live in LA, and no one really talks about Walt Disney World in LA. They would be talking about Disneyland, I think. I think it'd be rare. But I have
Now,
had people come up to me after they heard my voice. They've come up to me and ask, or I think they like asked my wife, they're like, "Is your husband part of the Avatar?" They're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." So I guess it has happened.
now, are you potentially ready for this new thing that's happening over in Disneyland? If they, say, "Hey, you're Dr. Stevens. We want you to continue this character in a new kind of whatever." Are you ready for that call, or are you going to be like, can you find a different Dr. Stevens?
Good question. Good question, Eddie. I think because the contract for doing this is like really bad, which I don't know if I would have done had I known beforehand, because it's like you get paid. Usually when you do something, you get paid, and then there are like residuals for the use of it later on.
Right.
There's like some sort of reasonable pay, and it goes down over the years. But for this, it was like they just paid you once, and now they can use it forever. You know,
Bastards.
and like the contract's really weird the way it's like in all media in the universe that ever exists. Like they make it so like no matter what kind of new media they come up with, it's like we can use it still. So
Damn.
so because of that, I probably would be like, I feel a little gypped from that, so I probably would, unless it's a different, unless it's
Contract.
some sort of something that's reasonable, then I would be interested in doing that. But otherwise,
That's
it's like,
wild. That's
yeah,
wild because that's similar to like what the actors went on strike for anyway.
exactly. And I had done this earlier in my career before I knew, to avoid things that say in perpetuity. But I don't know. It's still fun to be like in a Disneyland thing or Disney World thing. So maybe that in and of itself is fine.
Wow.
But would I do it again? I don't know. I'll let someone else um, uh, take a turn with that contract if they offer it again. I'm pretty sure they will.
How did you
'Cause
stumble upon like is this something wherever you look for like auditions and stuff? Is this something that would be up there?
this one was usually for like TV and films. It's only shown to agents, but then if you want a wider net, you can uh, open it up to, agents, managers, and actors to self-submit. So this one was one of those where they opened a really wide net, um, and you know, that's why. I mean, it's probably because they wanted to pay less, is what I'm thinking. I don't know. That's a little. What's that word? Where you're being where you're
Facetious.
thinking the world is not doing too great of a job. Um, I can't think of the word. Anyway, yeah. Well, this is a podcast, and I'm not doing good with words.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. I'll think of it, and then I'll say it. I'll say it later.
No,
Cynical. Cynical.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like I'll
Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, David, can you come back and record
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
ADR?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just take a pause. And what I meant to say was he was being beep. And we'll put
There we
a
go.
circle right there.
And I'll put it in. I'll stick it in
Yeah.
right there. Josh, what were you gonna say?
no, I ask him because I don't know if things have like changed over the years or whatever, but like they got I wouldn't call her like a superstar, but you got Felicia Rashad in the pre-show for Dinosaur. She's pretty big. I mean, everybody knows her from the Cosby Show. But I'm trying to figure out the pitch between like her agent and Disney and her, and they're like, so we got this thing. It's at Disney. It's about dinosaurs. It has nothing to do with anything you've ever done. What do you say? And she's like, yep, I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, I think if people are Disney fans, they might be like, "Oh, I'll do it for free." So maybe she's a Disney fan, or
Yeah.
maybe she's because she has more of you know, uh, uh, she's more known at the time when they ask her. They might have a different, she might have a different contract where it's like, more beneficial to her. So she's like, "Yeah, of course, this sounds fun.
Yeah, right.
Sounds reasonable. Let's do it." So could be either or could be the same thing, but she's just really into Disney, and it's like would love to be part of it, and it's like you're basically doing it for free, for her, if she's doing something like that. So I don't know. You
That's
have to ask her. Yeah.
that's where I'm at. I would do it for free to
Yeah.
as long as it would last to say like, no, I'm a part of that. I'm in there.
See, yeah, I need to get into Disney so I could feel Disney,
Feel okay with
Disney
them just
vibe and
using your
stuff.
likeness
Yeah.
and your voice as
Yeah.
much as they want.
Yeah.
Dude, I would love to see like some kind of like a TikTok or a short form content of you riding Flight of Passage, just standing in line to see if anyone recognizes you.
Oh, yeah, that would be fun. I did notice when I went to that sort of panel for the voices of the park and the people in the pre-shows, that everyone in the audience like was really into all of the performers, and you sort of felt like a celebrity a little bit. If you know how in Westworld, have you guys seen Westworld, where you go on these fantasies where you're a cowboy or whatever. It felt like I was in a fantasy where I'm sort of like a mini celebrity, because everyone was really into it, which I don't get here in Los Angeles, but in Orlando, in that panel for the pre-shows, all those people were really into it. So I wonder if I go to Orlando, it might be a different thing where people are more aware because they've seen it. It's like
Right.
people
Dude, I
have
think
more
so.
season passes. Yeah.
You would definitely get stopped. Somebody would have to have a selfie with the guy from the pre-show from Flight of Passage.
Right. Yeah. But but yeah, not here, which is
Not
fine.
here.
I'm good with it. I'm good with it, honestly. Yeah.
Well, obviously, I don't want to just have this focused on Avatar and Flight of Passage. So coming into 2025, what do you have coming up that you're excited about, or are you working on anything you can talk about?
Um, I do a lot of improv comedy at this theater, Upright Citizens Brigade. So there's like shows there every couple weeks that I do with my troupe, Local Tycoon. Um, and there's little commercials here and there that I've done that might pop up, that you might recognize me in. Um, but yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I can say about that for now. Oh, there was one thing. This might be controversial.
Bring it on.
So there's so my improv group. They're like, yeah, we were listening to this podcast, and they were talking about someone on a Disney ride, and we think it's you. And they're like, which ride are you in? I'm like, oh, it's the Avatar ride. They're like, yes, it's the Avatar ride. And it turns out there's, I don't know if you're familiar with SNL, and
Of course.
Bo and Yang has a podcast. I think it's called Las Culturistas.
Okay.
He does it with his friend, and they're really funny. But in this podcast, I think his friend wants Bowen to replace me in the Avatar ride. And they're like, yeah, they're really trying to get you replaced off of that ride. And I went to go listen to it, and it was hard to find, first of all, because it's like it's just hard to find some random little part of the podcast.
Right, because it's not in the title or anything.
Yeah, it's not in the title. It was just like a little sidebar they had while they were talking, and it was with Tina Fey.
Ooh.
And his friends like talking to Tina Fey like, don't you think Bowen would be so good in the Avatar, like as the scientist? And then Tina Fey's like 100%, and I'm sure he would be his own Bowen Yang self. But I just thought it was funny, and then I had pitched to my team to do like a sort of like a retaliation video where we're just like, I'm just like, well, I don't want to pitch it here because I might do it. But it would be funny. It wouldn't be like anything mean spirited. But yeah.
Is this like a whose line is it anyway?
They were scared to. Some of my friends were scared to be involved. They're like, I do not want to be involved because Bowen Yang has like very hardcore fans, and I do not want to be in their crosshairs. I do not want to get roasted by the Bowen Yang hive.
Yangers.
Yeah. I don't know if that's what they're called, but Eddie said that, just so everyone knows. Eddie said Yangers.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, you just did too, but
But I was repeating what Eddie was saying. I don't know if that's what they're called.
especially after Wicked. Yeah, he's gonna shoot through the roof now with Wicked. So
Oh, he's in Wicked?
he's in Wicked. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yep.
I should watch that.
What was I gonna say? Oh, is it like whose line is it anyway? What you do with the troupe?
No, it's a little more like like we sort of get a suggestion and then sort of like pitch ideas on what the suggestion reminds you of, and then based off of that, we'll do scenes based off of those sort of pitches that we did, and then just do a bunch of scenes for like 20-25 minutes.
Wow.
And then it's over. Yeah, you can live stream it if you want. From the UCB theater, if you guys are interested.
Yeah,
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
Yeah.
It's when is it? Every when?
Oh, every Monday nights. There's like Monday nights every couple of weeks, but there's shows there all the time if you want to catch any of the stuff there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like afterwards, I'll make sure just give me the links and everything, and I can put it in the show notes because it's free, right? No one like you don't have to pay for it or anything, do you?
Um,
Or do you?
Good question. You probably have to pay something.
Oh,
I think
come
at
on,
some
David.
point. Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's free. Yeah, I
Mm.
think you have to pay
No, it's all good. You did
U.S.
this for
dollars.
free, so you know what? I'll
No, no,
pay.
you guys don't have to. Yeah, but if you're ever in town, I could get you comps, and then you can come in for free.
All right,
Yeah,
sounds good.
yeah.
Now look, before I let you go, because I want to be respectful of your time. Every new guest on the podcast gets asked the same question. What is your number one favorite James Cameron film?
Ooh.
Oh, I already answered that.
We'll
I
say
said
it
True
again.
Lies, right? True Lies. Did he do that one?
You did, yes.
Yeah, True Lies. It's so freaking funny. That part where oh man, there's so many funny parts. I really like the part with that where the car salesman
Oh, that's Bill Paxton.
he's yeah, he thinks that he's like, cheating on his wife, and then he uses his like CIA and FBI resources to like crash into his mobile home and like take him to a bridge, and then he's just like this pathetic guy crying, and then they find out it's like not a big deal, and he's like, wait, so I get to live, or it's just like that part's really funny.
Have you seen
Um,
True Lies, Josh?
Oh yeah.
Okay. God, it's
yeah.
so good. It is so good. And they even did like a spin-off thing on CBS Plus or something. It was also called True Lies. It had no connection whatsoever to the film, but Cameron was a executive producer, I guess
Oh.
just because he had to be.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, and they always talked about doing a sequel to True Lies, but after 9/11 happened, they kind of felt that joking about terrorism is really not funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Probably a good move.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what that whole thing is about. It's like it's like trying to fight a terrorist, and there's a lot of jokes about terrorism.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you never know what's gonna happen in the world to make whatever was really funny to something that's like not the right time right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's your favorite, man. I've done a lot of episodes of this podcast, and not a lot of people pick True Lies. I think a lot of people forget that he did True Lies.
Yeah. I think it's probably his funnier one. Is your goal to get James Cameron on the podcast?
Yeah. So if that happens, that's the end of the podcast.
Oh,
Period.
really?
Yep.
It's like that.
Complete.
Well, it's sort of like, can you imagine episode 210, James Cameron finally, and then episode 211, and it's just back to me talking.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Well, you'd have to just have snippets of it then. You'd have to be like, here's 5 minutes of James Cameron. 5 minutes, 5 more minutes coming up next time.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Well, there was this one podcast where this actor, it's called Dead Eyes, I think. Have you heard of this one?
Have not.
So it was this actor that he auditioned for a part in Tom Hanks's series Band of Brothers,
Right.
and he got the part and like flew to Europe and was about to do the part, and then they're like, oh, by the way, Tom Hanks, we need you to re-audition because Tom Hanks thinks you have dead eyes, like his eyes aren't like expressing enough. So he goes and he does this audition and doesn't get it. They replace him, and he does this whole podcast about trying to figure out if Tom Hanks really thinks he had dead eyes or like what really happened. And he's like interviewing all these people from Band of Brothers, the actor that replaced him. It's like 50 episodes until he finally interview the podcast becomes so popular that Tom Hanks gets on it. And of course, he has no recollection of anything. He's just like, I don't remember you or anything about you at all. Yeah. So it was a little anticlimactic, but the ride there was great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe that'll happen to you. You'll get
Hey, you know what? I was
Jimmy
gonna
on the
hope that
podcast.
when I reached out to you, you were like, "Oh yeah, Cameron was on set.
Oh
You gave
yeah.
me his number, and
No, nowhere
no
to be
way,
found.
nothing."
Yeah, I don't even know how tall he is. I just know what he looks like. He could, if he shows up, he could be any height, and I would just be like, I guess that's your height. I had no
I
idea.
think I want to say he's at least 6 foot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's definitely not a Tom Cruise, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Who is not as tall as 6
Who was like
feet,
5'3" or something.
right?
Like
Oh,
5'5".
wow.
He's very small.
Oh, wow. Well, it's probably good because it gives him a good center of gravity to do all his stunts.
Right.
He's 6'2".
Who?
He's 6'2" on film. Oh, James
James
Cameron.
James Cameron.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. Now Tom Cruise.
He's a tall man.
Tom Cruise.
Tom
How tall
Cruise.
or how short is he?
I'm gonna say 5'7".
You're right on it. 5'7".
Really? Well,
Yep.
that's what's listed. So maybe you minus 2 inches. He's really 5'5".
Damn, Cameron's tall, man.
I'm just
Well,
kidding.
you know
Tom
what?
Cruise, I love you. You're 5'7" or taller. It doesn't matter. You're great. So you can't say stuff on a podcast and then one day they come back and they hate you for it. So that's why I'm doing that. Sorry about that, Eddie.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. David, look, man, I could keep talking to you, and but I want to, make sure that I don't keep you too long. But thank you so much for coming on here. I know, like, you've probably talked about this way more than you would have liked to have talked about it at this point. So
That's all right. You were really persistent in asking me to, and then that hurricane hit, and I was like, oh man, we got to do this. We are not letting Helena get between me and you. Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. It was great also having a person with actual Disney knowledge, Josh. And then I hope I gave you guys something that was part of the whatever you wanted to do.
yeah, man, it's a celebration of Pandora. That's what this was.
Yeah,
So
celebration. All right.
what'd you say, Josh?
No, my when you popped up, I was like, oh, I got one question only, and it was going to be about the script and how much of it was improv and all that. So that was actually cool to hear from you yourself, so I can actually chime in on some conversation with people. Like, actually, I've been on a podcast with him, and this is what happened.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was written, but there was some improv because they kept changing the lines. So just like it's hard to memorize stuff in a minute. Yeah. And they had an iPad there with the words. Sorry, they had an iPad there with the words, but it was like to the side of the camera. And they're like, okay, we need you to say everything to the camera, and not. So it's like it was sort of pointless to have it there because I can't.
Right, because you can't look at it.
They're like, don't look at the lines. They're just there to refresh, but look into camera when you're saying everything. Yeah.
That's like on SNL when you can clearly tell they're just reading the cue cards.
Right. Some people, whatever character they choose to play, it looks like they're doing like it's like that's how the way that person would talk. But some people, it just looks like they're just reading. I don't know what the trick is. Yeah.
All right, David. Well, let's stay in touch, and I hope whatever you're doing in 2025 is exciting for you. I definitely want to check out the live stream, so definitely send me that link.
Oh, definitely.
At the very least.
I will. All right.
All right,
Awesome.
man.
See you guys.
Good talking to you.
See ya.
There he goes.
That's crazy.
There he goes.
That
Cool
was
guy.
great. That's something like there's a very select group of people in the world right now that I could go brag to them and say, look who was on this podcast that I was on. And they'd be like, oh my God, that's Dr. Stevens. And then you could find someone that's never been to Disney in their life, give them the full backstory on everything. James Cameron, Avatar, Dr. Stevens. And they'd be like, cool.
Yeah.
What are you telling me?
Uh-huh. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. Now, we didn't really talk too much about it, so let's quickly cover it here. Na'vi River Journey. I've never been on it, and I know it's the lesser of the two when it comes to popularity. That's nowhere near as packed ever, right?
Yes and no. I think it's entering now. It's like this is its era. I think when something's brand new, the number one thing people complain about is they were like, I didn't understand, or there was no story, or it's not cohesive or whatever. But I like it because of how there's no one there to tell you a story. You're experiencing Pandora. That's the story. It's literally like, what if you were on a boat going through a river, seeing Navis, or I guess Navi, and just seeing the beauties of the nature. Like it's a story. It's interpretive, like art almost. It's like, what do you see at, or what do you get out of this?
Well, and it also has the most expensive animatronic of like all time, right?
This is very true. I don't know. The Rise of the Resistance might have something close to it because their animatronics in there are on the same kind of level as far as how intuitive and like smooth they move. What was I about to say? I forgot. But nowadays there are certain days you can catch Navi River Journey with a longer wait time than Flight of Passage.
Wow.
And I'm talking like technically. So if Navi River Journey is at 80, then I'm saying Flight of Passage is at like 70.
Okay.
But still.
But you do have to kind of factor in, right? It's like, what is the loading of Navi River Journey versus Flight of Passage? Flight of Passage is able to hold a lot more people, right?
No shot, bro. I think they're loading 3 boats at a time on Navi. So you're talking a maximum of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. You're talking a maximum of 18 people.
Okay, launching off kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. And then they have to wait a little bit, right? And then they have to load and then launch them off again. Whereas with Flight of Passage, I feel like it's just a constant moving thing where you're in the pre-show and then you're here and then the pre-show and then you're here.
Because it almost runs like a theater. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Have you ever, the one time you were probably locked in. Next time you go on it, just look around at like how the ride works. Some people think it kind of ruins it, but like I need everything. You know what I mean? And if you actually kind of lean down and look over and see all the rows of the vehicles moving at once, this is why to this day it doesn't operate at full capacity. There's a whole bay that's pretty much unused because I think they figured out that if they fully load this thing, it's going to tap out every time. Because when Flight of Passage first opened, that was the problem. Ride down, and it was just getting fried out.
Right. Probably because of all the weight and everything, and just the capacity of usage, and
probably some engineer probably gave them the answer of like, yeah, it should be good.
It should be good.
Should hold.
That's what they said about the Yeti, and look at where we're at now.
Man, it's sad. It's sad too because that will literally never be fixed ever.
That's so sad. That's so sad.
It's too much a part of like the actual structure.
Yep.
So, and I don't know. I have to look this up. Maybe I'll do it now. But Expedition Everest for the longest time was the most expensive roller coaster ever built at a whopping $200 million. Yeah.
Damn. And then what topped it at Disney?
That's what I don't know if it's still the champ.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a quick little Google here because Guardians of the Galaxy is wow. Speak of the devil. So as of February 24, the most expensive roller coaster in the world is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot, which cost an estimated $500 million to build.
Ooh.
Dude. And I get it. You would literally love this ride. Have you seen Guardians?
The film?
Yeah.
No. I'm so out of the Marvel thing. It's not even funny.
This is one of those rides where I could take a complete anti-Marvel person and you will not get off this ride and tell me you didn't have fun. There's no way. It doesn't tie into the Guardians movies. the only thing that you're seeing from Guardians are the actual characters, but the story in itself is told within the pre-show and the ride. So anybody who doesn't know anything about Marvel can easily go on this ride and understand what we're doing and what's going on. If not, you will get off this roller coaster and be like, that's the best thing I've ever been on in my life.
Damn. Yeah, see, because I thought that, and then I also thought, not to go off on too much of a tangent here, but Tron, because that just reminds me of Hagrid. So I do have to get back there. It's a shame that it's not all in one park. It's a shame that you have to do this and then you have to go over here, because I do want to do Tron. I want to do Guardians based off of just all the stuff you talk about it in your videos. I want to do Na'vi River Journey. Never did that. Got to go back on Flight of Passage. But it's again all these different parks.
You know how most rides are like, not most rides, let's say most, like a really good thrill ride, kind of just makes you, it's a rush. It's a full like experience, and you're not really able to fully process it. And you know, those like first 30 seconds when you're getting off of a ride and you're like, that was sick. Then it all starts to kind of process. When you're on Guardians, it kind of processes mid-ride, because there is nothing like this. As far as any theme park anywhere in the world goes, there's nothing like this. The way it moves, and it sounds like David would have a problem with this. If you get like motion sickness, that can be an issue. But if you're relatively okay on simulators and stuff like that, you're just gonna the first time I rode this, I heard other people screaming and wooing and everything else. I was in complete silence. And like, I remember halfway through, I was like, what is even going on right now? It feels like out of body.
God. Yeah, it's I don't know. I got to get on there at some point, but the last thing that I definitely wanted to talk about before we wrap it up here is all the other stuff that you can experience in Pandora that's not a ride. There's obviously dining options. There's the merch, which I do want to talk a little bit about, because as of the recording of this, I was just checking the date. They have released the new Banshees that don't have, because I recorded a pre-intro for this episode with my with my wired Banshee. But they don't have those stupid wires coming down anymore.
Did you get a price on that yet?
I did not. I just kind of took your word for it.
I'll check it out soon.
$200. You're thinking 200?
I'm thinking 200. I mean, it's going to be Bluetooth something or the other. That's the only thing I can come up with. Unless a new tooth system has come out or something. But honestly, bro, Banshee is like, if you're into Avatar, that singular piece, that's like a must-have for me.
It's like the wands when you go to Harry Potter.
Exactly. But the what's lacking for me is like, I can never find a good shirt. I'm Mr. T-shirt. This is my souvenir. Like, I want to buy the shirt, but I also don't want to buy just like a cheap basic. You throw it in the dryer, it shrinks 2 sizes immediately. Like, I like it to look good, and that's something I can never find in Pandora. And honestly, if you have young kids, not like toddlers, but kids, like, I don't know, 7 to 11, 12, whatever, the toy selection is great too.
Right.
If they're into Avatar.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I've just based off your videos and other people that have vlogged it, I'm like, okay, I'd pick that up. I might pick that up, but it's really the Banshee thing. And I only have this one because downtown Savannah has a toy store that I guess just miraculously got one traded in or something. And I saw it. I messaged you that day. I was like, how much do these normally go for? And it was a good price. So I picked it up. And but you have one that's like from, like, what is it? It's like a special edition anniversary.
They were released with the Earth Day ones. This was like 7-ish years ago, something like that. It was some kind of celebration going on about Earth Day at Animal Kingdom. and there were 2 Earth Day ones that got released, and then mine was released with it, but it's not an Earth Day. It's called a Rookery edition. The only thing different on it is the color pattern.
Right.
Other than that, they all function the same. It's literally a matter of which color do you want. And that's why I'm interested to see if these new ones are all going to be the same price because it's the plus, the new edition, or are they sticking to what it used to be? Because if you bought one with 3 colors on it, that was the most expensive. If you got the 1 color or 2 color ones, they were less expensive, and that was really only the difference. Mine does have little spots on it too. If you put a like a black light on it, it would look, bioluminescent.
And do you have, because you can make your own avatar, right? That's still a thing. You can be an avatar.
They brought that back. I've never done it. It's not it. It's not going to look like you. That's like the only way I can put it. It's a cool idea, and I see the potential of it, but it's not going to look like. It's almost like making a Facebook, what is it? The emoji of yourself kind of thing, or Snapchat, or for like on your phones, like the iMessage stuff. It's almost like designing a video game character that you want to look like you. It might have some similarities, but it's not going to look like you.
Damn, that sucks. Because I remember hearing about that too, and because I didn't know about that for the longest time. I was like, that's insane. Why didn't I? Like, that just makes sense. Of course they would do something like that. And then that's all I hear is it's.
Yeah, I watched a couple of people do it, and I just wasn't really seeing it. And then my parents actually did it, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm actually glad I didn't do this.
Now, when it comes to the food, there is a place there you really like, right? Like in the land?
The surprisingly, no. The not yet. I've only eaten there once, and they changed the menu a little bit. And when I say changed the menu, a lot of places did this with like theme parks, especially after COVID. They switched a lot of things to where you were getting a like white meat chicken to chicken thighs. And I'm just, out of anything I cook, chicken thighs are never, that's just not, it's not what I'm buying when I'm making chicken. So when I ate at, I forgot the name of it now. The quick service place in Pandora. We weren't impressed. It's kind of like a build a bowl kind of situation. Did you guys eat there or no?
Literally, we just waited 5-6 hours, got on, I got teary-eyed, and then we left.
Yeah. It's I don't want to say like Chipotle, but it's like you are you're building a bowl if you want. There's other stuff too, but it's like you pick a rice, you pick a protein, you pick a sauce, and you're pretty much on your way.
And that's it, right? There's just that one place to eat. That's it.
There's a little stand, but it has like snackies, and it has a, I think they're called lumpias, which is I really don't want to get this wrong, but I think I remember reading it's a Puerto Rican take on a, like a dessert egg roll. So it's like a pineapple lumpia. It's like an egg roll, right? But the inside is like a pineapple cream cheese filling.
Right. Okay. Huh.
I think they have one other snack, but I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, I don't know if it's because the park was closing or if it's just we went off and wanted to do something else, but never got to. And like, that's my big regret is like, especially because I was just a casual Cameron fan back then. And I was like, all right, we got to go to this. Now I'd be like, oh man, I'd be taking in everything. I would just be, just everything, anything, the smallest details, like the bathrooms. I'd be like, how are the bathrooms themed? Stuff like that.
This is a weird fact, but the bathrooms right outside of Flight of Passage are some of the coldest bathrooms I've ever been in Disney. That's where I'm at. What I'm noticing when I go into bathrooms now is like, oh, yep, cold in here. That's what I'm talking about.
And I wonder if that's like a theming thing or if that's just what it is.
They're also huge, which the newer bathrooms and newer areas, I think they learned a lesson over the years. Like, nope, go big, because sometimes, like at Epcot in particular, you'll go to a bathroom and it's like, this is way too small for a theme park. Like, what are we doing in here?
But
you would like one of my favorite drinks to get anywhere in Disney World. It's almost like it's almost like a rite of passage that I get this beer. It's called a Hawks Green Grog Ale, and it's a green colored beer. And it has notes of apricot and something. It's an amber beer, but it's got notes of apricot. And this is why I say it's in that Blue Moon kind of realm.
All right, and this is like the official, like this is the butter beer to this land kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. If you've ever seen me post a picture of a solid green beer, that's where that's from.
Is. And see, that's the other issue, and I hope that they really kind of dial it in for California. As amazing as the land is, Pandora, like as amazing as it is, I really do feel like if you compare it to something like Harry Potter over at Universal, Harry Potter, like they knock it out of the park in terms of all the exclusive stuff that, butterbeer, the wand interactivity. And I feel like there was so much potential with Pandora, and they kind of skim the surface with this first land. So hopefully for California, they think of like an official non-alcoholic drink. That is does that exist here?
That does exist. It's called a Night Blossom. And it's a layered purple and green slushy drink.
Okay.
And you can get that alcoholic or non-alcoholic. It's advertised non-alcoholic. It's like $6, or you can add rum or tequila to it, and you'll get like a little floater in there for like another, like, I don't know, $8 or whatever it is.
Got it. Okay. All right.
And so it's got like the little yellow, they're like boba or whatever they are.
Popping things at the bottom.
Yeah, like popping bubbles.
Okay. So they kind of covered the surface, or all their bases, but I still can't help but feel like there's so much more that they can do with this.
It's funny you bring that up because when Universal started on the Harry Potter stuff, this was Disney's answer to that. They were like, all right, we got to fire back. And that was they're like, this, how about that, Universal? But I don't know. It's hard to choose. I still think if you were like, everything you want in the land is free for the day, do you want to go to Avatar or do you want to go to Harry Potter land? I'd probably still go to Pandora.
But which Harry Potter land are you talking about? Or are you just encompassing the whole thing?
Just the whole thing, because like,
okay,
I love Harry Potter in a non-interactive way, I guess. Okay. Like I don't have a wand, and I wouldn't buy a wand to this day to do the windows and whatever else. And Disney did come up with their own thing that was like similar, but honestly, if you're into the interactive stuff, Universal's got that on point. But something about I
was just going to say, apparently these new Banshees are more interactive with other people that are having them on their shoulders. Like they'll supposedly notice that there's other Banshees nearby and react and stuff like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. I think where Pandora slides ahead of either Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley is if you look up. Because in Pandora, you have the floating mountains. If you look up in Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley, you have the Florida sky.
All right.
I'm not saying it. Oh, they should have put something in the sky or whatever. But I'm saying that little detail is like more. It's more of like a 360 immersive experience, and they took it a step further. If you really look at the biggest floating mountain on the, I can't do the direction. I'm going to guess and say I'm not going to guess. If you walk into the land and you're facing the land, on the right side of that biggest floating mountain you can see, you'll see banshees attached, little ekrons that are attached, sitting on the floating mountains. And there's more if you go further back into the land that are like a little bit up higher.
Damn. See, this is the stuff. This is what I'd be geeking out about.
Right.
You know, if I were to go back to it. So it's got to happen. Did we cover everything in terms of like the small details that aren't the rides, the merch, the food? What else is there? Is there anything else like the bioluminescent kind of just vibe and the nighttime of the whole place?
Yeah, and Disney needs to get back on. Animal Kingdom lately, for a while now, has been closing at 6 p.m.
Which that's right when it becomes dark.
Sometimes 8 p.m. But when Pandora opened, there was a big, almost like an advertisement, like come see Pandora at night, because it was built for that. And they're right now, I mean, yes, there's daylight savings time, but there's nothing like a stroll around Animal Kingdom at like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, bro. It's a completely different park.
Yep. Damn it. I gotta see this. Yeah, no, but look, I mean, the future is bright for Pandora, whatever they're gonna do to expand it, because the next iteration is definitely Way of Water inspired, and maybe some Fire and Ash. You know, when they built Pandora, this was really based off of that first film, and it was so separated from it, you know, in a way, it was almost like they were making it up as they were going. Now, I feel like it's ingrained with the films. I feel like even Cameron is kind of maybe rewriting the films so that it kind of ties in more with, you know what I mean? These future parks that they're going to be building.
Yeah, bro, because when they approached James Cameron, his response was something along the lines of like, you're kind of biting off more than you can chew, I think, when you're approaching me about using my IP about a theme park land. And Joe Rohde, who we were talking about earlier with David, kind of showed him Disney brought him 3D models and sketches and concept art about what they wanted to build. Like they came correct. They were like, no, this is what we want to do. What do you think? And that was James Cameron's turning point, where he was like, oh, okay, I'm behind this. And he even said, like, for like creative input, he was there, but he was more so there as like a buffer to make sure that Disney said, like, okay, well, James Cameron said we could do it. Let's do this and this and this. He was kind of there to make sure they didn't just go like off the rails, and for him to kind of reel them in, like, no. That's not Na'vi. This is Na'vi.
Right. Yeah, no, it's especially when you look at what his involvement with T2 was, and T2 3D at Universal, you know, helping direct that little short film element, and then kind of that was really where he was focused. He also kind of buffered the other parts of it, but this is sort of like a next level thing. Even if he wasn't as as direct as maybe I would have liked him to have been, it definitely is. You know, he was there when it opened, right? He was there. It was him, John Landau, Sigourney Weaver, Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana was there. So definitely embraced it. And, you know, because I don't even think he was at the opening of T2 when that opened in '96. I don't think he was there. He was doing Titanic still.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So
I could see him though, wanting to be way more engulfed in the Terminator show, because like in that era too, dude, that was his baby. He was not just going to hand that off to Universal Studios and be like, yeah, sure. He was like, yeah, I'll make it if you want it.
Right, exactly. And now he's still involved in the Terminator stuff, but he's way more focused on the Avatar. So it's kind of funny how that all just lined up. Like the '90s was Terminator, and now it's all Avatar stuff.
For real.
But yeah, well, look, thanks for coming on, celebrating Pandora. If there's any last minute details you want to drop, or we can wrap it up.
There's rumor. You know what I would love to know? Two things in life I want to know. One, how did Disney Parks rumors start? Because sometimes I feel like Disney whispers things into the internet just to get us talking about them, for them to then turn around and say, oh, look, they like this. Let's build it. 4 years ago at D23, they started doing this thing they're calling blue skies. Blue skies are not confirmed plans like we're going to build this, we're going to make this is happening. Blue skies is literally them just throwing out ideas to the audience. And at this year's D23, one of the blue skies things they threw out was a villain's land. And now at this year's D23, they announced we're getting a villain's land. So it's like they feed us little bits, and I feel like they watch the internet and everything and all the chatter, and they're like, they're receptive of this. Let's build it. The other thing I want to know in life is who starts TikTok trends, because you always see trends on TikTok, but you never see who started them first.
How would the first one I kind of believe, like, that just makes sense that you would, be like, hey, like, see if, test the waters,
Right?
That makes sense to me. The TikTok thing, how would you know that it's is there like a label or something that goes over that? Like, hey, this is the original thing that started the whole, like, how does anything become like, how do you trace anything back to the original?
Well, the people that go viral, like you've heard of like the Hawk Tuah girl.
Yes.
Okay. So like her video, you can click on it and it will say in a red font original. Like if you click on the actual sound, there's a sound portion of the video you can click on TikTok, and that will show you everyone that's using the current sound. And then the number one video in that line will be the original. It's almost like if you click a hashtag.
Okay.
And you'll see an array of videos.
A trend you don't understand.
And then the trends, it's just the only thing in order is kind of how many views you have. You'll have the most viewed video usually toward the top, but there's nothing marked as original.
Huh. I don't know.
I don't know, bro. I just live here.
Well, you are the Disney guy, and Tiffany is the Disney gal. And you are at Mouse Tracks. That'll be linked down below if anyone wants to check out what you're doing. You are on, like you said, TikTok. You're on YouTube, Instagram. You have, and yeah, now you're married.
Just like that.
There it is. Well, you haven't, because we've done so many things. You haven't been on James Cameron 101 yet. This is your first appearance on this one, right?
Yeah, man. Not since Eddie Green's 101.
So you also get the question before we end the episode. What is your number one favorite James Cameron film?
Man.
Number one. You can only pick one. You can sit down tonight and watch one Cameron film. What are you watching?
It's super close between T2 and Avatar 1.
One. Okay.
It's close. I don't know.
What are you feeling tonight? Are you
like if I had to watch one of those?
If you had to sit down tonight, you and Tiffany pop one in. I'm sure she wouldn't pay attention to T2, but
I'm leaning on Avatar, but I just feel guilty. But yeah, I'll give it to Avatar.
Avatar. All right. Again, similar to what David said, I've done a lot of these asking people, what are your favorites? And True Lies and Avatar don't come up too often.
That, I was actually surprised seeing directed by James Cameron on Avatar. And then, like, if you don't know about James Cameron and then you kind of just look through his filmography, Avatar you wouldn't think that's in his repertoire.
Right, yeah. But then you look at something like Titanic and it's like, where did that come from?
I couldn't imagine anyone else making that movie.
Oh, no, of course not. but he does that, right? Like the ones that make sense are T1, T2, Abyss, Aliens. It's all sci-fi. Like that all makes sense. It's True Lies that makes no sense. An
But
action comedy.
They're all so different. Like Aliens, Terminator. What was the other one you said? The Abyss. Like
The Abyss,
they're just, you can put them in the same genre, but they're so different.
They are, yeah. Yep.
Whereas like I love the guy, but like Steven Spielberg almost has a feel to his movies.
Right.
And the fact that John Williams and Steven Spielberg are probably like the most collaborated like director and film score maker of all time. But like there's almost like you can almost watch a movie blindly and be like, did Steven Spielberg direct this? And yeah, he did. Yeah, okay, I thought so.
No, that's true.
But like if you put on Alien, and then after Alien we watched Titanic, and you were like, same director made both these movies, I'd be like, no, he didn't.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, what are you talking about? What does the guy with ships know about the guy with aliens? What are you talking about?
Right. No, I get it. But you're going Avatar. That's cool. I like it. So yeah, you'll be back on here at some point, I'm sure. We'll do something Avatar related again, but we're going to wrap it up here. Everybody go check out Mouse Tracks on all the links down below. And as always, go watch a Cameron film.